Welcome back to my Commodore 64 Retro Games videos, a little bonus video about Turbo Outrun this time. So a question was asked on my YouTube channel about whether or not the roads use a similar routine for updating the graphics as compared to the background roadside graphics. So I went hunting through memory, looking for chunks of memory which look like they contain road characters. So when I have the road character set visible in the graphics map debug views, I found these areas of memory at E000 to EFFF and a little bit after that as well. So I noticed that when driving around in the previous video that the character set information for some of the road characters would dynamically get updated. So we have a dynamic update from when the road goes from straight to being around a corner to being up or down a hill, for example. So if I drive along, you'll notice there we go, the characters for the road changed here. And if I continue to drive along, when the road goes back to being straight again, then the characters should change back again. These characters are not the characters for the roadside graphics, although those do change as well. These are the characters specifically for the road graphics, not the roadside objects. There we go, they changed again, they changed again. So this is the dynamic character set being updated just for the road graphics. If we close this window and we have a look at the graphics character data that's actually I'm representing them as using the graphics map text screen debug view here. You can see that there's what looks like the far portion of the road, the perspective portion of the road, and it gets wider and wider. The graphics data looks like it's using wider than 40 characters than you would normally expect for a screen. That's why everything looks like it's skewed off to the right, because each, if you like, the virtual screen scan line is longer than 40 characters. It looks like it's about 46 or 48 perhaps. If I use the editing function to add these extra characters on the far horizon there, on the two lines of the far horizon, you can see now that when I move left and right, and the roadside objects are not blocking it, you can see those extra characters being drawn there, which tends to indicate quite strongly, actually, doesn't it, that this area of memory is being used to update the road graphics specifically. And if I update those characters just on the left, you can see that the characters on the left of the road get updated accordingly. You can also see that there's a little bit of road data here and here as well. The other data that's changing here is actually some of the sprite data that's being swapped over for the cars. So remember from the previous video that the sprite data for these car definitions get swapped around with what's at the end of memory. So it gets swapped to be a Porsche or a Mini Cooper or a police car, for example. So there's only really one enemy car, if you like, visible of a particular type on the screen at a particular time. We can see that the sprite data, which is at the end of memory, up at the end of that last bit bank, is being swapped around there. And remember, the memory is shared, so it's shared between the characters and the sprites and everything like that, because the Commodore 64 just has one piece of RAM there. So we're just using the different graphics map debug views here to show what the graphics data looks like in various different byte formats. The sprite data has different byte formatting to character data, to character set data, to bitmap data. So anyway, I think we can safely say that the road data is using like an optimized copy routine to copy across a 40 character segment depending on the horizontal road scroll position. And there's probably some left and right margins as well, which fill the road on the left and right hand edges. So if I fill the center of the road there in the graphics debug view map, you can see now that the center of the road has been filled with those characters that I use to edit the debug view. What's interesting is that I think you can see that when the corner starts getting introduced, each character row down the screen of the corner progressively comes onto the screen. So actually these horizontal rows are being copied on a line-by-line basis depending on how strong the corner is, how steep or how strong the hill is, and it's being copied in line by line from back to front, so from far to near, depending on the road representation, how it wants to render that part of the road, which is, I think a good way of doing it. It means that you can have the rows that are showing the straight part of the road near the camera, but then you can copy across the rows that are representing the start of the corner coming in at the far end, and then you can progressively bring them in and you can copy more and more rows in as you want to show a different graphical effect. So this is quite a good way, a good optimal way of storing different road representations in memory and then copying them over as and when it's needed. So I thought I would create this short little bonus video in response to this question, and I hope that kind of clarifies how the road is drawn in this game. If you like watching these kind of Commodore 64 retro games videos, then please do consider liking or subscribing to my channel, and I hope to catch you around next time. Have a great day, evening, or night, wherever you are.